Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Crowley House Flower Farm. Today, I woke up early before the house, before the rooster, before the birds, had my coffee and made a plan. So what I've been trying to do is get out into the gardens at least an hour before the crew shows up and before I have to actually go to work. So doing something fun and something that I absolutely love prior, just because we have some really nice weather right now. It's not always like this in spring, but I'm trying to get out and just do one little thing, like weed the garden. And like I told you last video, I was trying to get to the cool garden and things just happened and life happens, right? We were super busy, and I think it's because I have kind of this creative brain that I always think that I can do way more than I actually can. So we started the project but then didn't finish it. So today I'm gonna take you along as I finish up cleaning up my personal what I call the cool garden. And if you followed us a while, you'll know why I call it that, but it's more of the reason that in the evenings it's a place that I can go to after a long day of heat and cutting and sloshing through the mud, muck, dust, dirt. It's a place that I can escape to with just, you know, my glass of wine or water, whatever I'm drinking, and just putz. And there's no demand for somebody wanting my flowers. It's just this beautiful place that I'm creating for myself. I thought I would take you along as I zhuzh it up. I'm gonna add some compost. I'm going to go through and weed. This is probably my second or third time going through and weeding, so it's really looking good, even without me kind of touching it. So anyways, I'm glad you're here. Later on in this video, I'm gonna take you along and show you, we finished cleaning up the orchard. We got all the debris out, all the trimmings down. We mowed through there and we took out the dog kennel. That was, holy cow, a little nerve-wracking, so you'll see. And then also in this video, I'm gonna show you a wedding that Riley is working on. She's doing some flowers, and I'm just gonna update you on what we're doing out in the big garden with Emma and all the plantings that we're doing. Emma and I have been working long hours. Riley, poor thing, she's been in the studio. We've got so many events going on right now. She's just focused on getting those events done all by herself. I don't know how she's doing it, but she says she's fine. So we'll check in with her and make sure she is fine. And then Emma and I have just been planting and cleaning up beds and tilling. The labor of love, my friends, the labor of love. Okay, so I'm gonna hit it before the crew comes and just enjoy this beautiful morning. So today I am going to get up close and personal in the garden with you. Personal in the way that this is my own personal garden, and personal because I am working on trying to be better about how I garden. Lifting how I'm moving the hoe, the rake, and the shovel, and so I thought I would take you along for that. So a couple other things I'm using. This is a big guy. This is what we use basically for cut flower production. It's not one that I use a lot of, so I just have a few around for weed collection. It's got these little handles that you can just kind of hold, and you can go around the garden and pick up your weeds and put them in. So it works out pretty good. So I think the best part about spring is all the new things that start springing up. It's about seeing the garden from day to day go from a blank slate up into these mounds of beautiful foliage and greens, and then textures, and then come the flowers. It's that renewed sense of hope for the garden that I love seeing the whole process. I'm trying to just enjoy it this year. Just relax and sit back and watch nature happen at its best. Next thing I have is I just get a trash bin that's plastic with handles on it so that I can take any of the weeds and put them in the compost. Sometimes it's about setup. It's kind of like painting. When you tape everything, it takes the longest. It's just gathering up everything. So if you have a really good spot that you keep everything in, it helps that you can just grab it and go. So it doesn't take you a half hour to go find the shovel, the rake, the buckets, the green bin, the wheelbarrow. So working on still trying to put everything away at the end of the night and cleaning up so in the morning I can have it fresh and ready to go, and I'm not wasting time because that happens a lot on the farm. Doing better at it though. Okay, so I'm ready to get to work. So I'm just using a hula hoe that I've just sharpened. Just scuffing off some of the new little baby starts that are coming up. Super easy. So one thing that I've learned over the years is a lot of times I'd go in, my lower back would be just killing me at the end of the night. I'd wake up, need to take some Advil, Tylenol kind of thing. And I just hurt for days after working in the garden. What I've learned now from just going to the gym, listening to my brother who is the trainer there, he's like, you need to build the core muscles. And so what I've been trying to do is really work on getting those core muscles just built up so my lower back doesn't hurt as much, just because I have to do this until I pretty much die. I have to farm, I have to garden. It's part of me, it's what I do. What I'm trying to do now while I'm working in the garden is kind of focus like on those core muscles and being aware of what my body feels like and how I'm standing, how I'm squatting, doing all the things you should do when you're in the gym, but here in the garden. This hedge of old Italian plums is just leaning and leaning and leaning. Every year we cut it back. This year we have big plans to go ahead, and also there's our gas tank. So we're gonna go ahead and put in some sort of hedge, like a English laurel or something that grows pretty quickly. But we do have in the garden, as I'm cleaning it up, one of these little seedlings that have popped up, and it actually looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is pick that up, dig it out, and I'm going to move it to the back where we're creating a little woodland area, but this is going to have some sun, and maybe we'll continue to have Italian plums that are better. So these plums over the years, they are just infested with aphids. They have worms in them. They're just not a good production of plums. So what I'm thinking to do is go ahead and take that one plum that it looks actually pretty healthy, and I'm gonna move it over to where it gets a lot more sun, that it's just gonna be happier, get some good compost around it so that all we need is one plum tree. And then we'll be able to make some more plum jam and all the things that we really love. So I'm gonna dig her out and move her. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it works. So I do have a method to this madness. And part of it is I go in, I get any of the big weeds, things like thistle, and we've got blackberry, and some of the larger weeds out. And I use a shovel for that or a hori. And then I go in with my little hula hoe and I just kind of scrape along the ground because there's little tiny starts, little babies coming along that just come up really easily that way. We've been mulching this garden for several years, so the soil is doing much better. It was horrible. The other thing I do is I bring my big loppers and I do cut out some of these suckers. Either cut them down or dig them out. The littler ones are easier for me to dig, and then other ones are just chop them off, and then next year, or as I can, I dig them from time to time. So I have my shovel, hula hoe, hori, loppers, clippers, all the things. Next, I'm going to clean up we've got some beautiful fern, they're native fern to our area. I'm gonna clean those up. The new shoots are coming up beautiful. I just love the fern as it unfurls. It's just beautiful this time of year, I think. It's a little after 9 o'clock. I think I started around 6:30, something like that. So it's about almost 9. Took a little break, made some iced coffee. I make this one that's similar to the oat milk brown sugar shaken espresso at Starbucks, but it's a lot cheaper. So it's like $5.75 for a cup of coffee, and this is pretty much, you know, what we have in the house. It is what we have in the house, and a lot less expensive. So in the summer, I love drinking iced coffee, and this is one of my favorites. Okay, so back to the garden. But first, it's important to take these little breaks, partly because then you can kind of do some stretching and, you know, make sure that you're not hurting yourself. But I'm really liking how everything's coming. I'm about ready to lay down the compost, just zhuzhing up the garden a little bit. And I'll probably have to come through, this is the end of April, so I'll have to come through probably mid-May, just double check it. And then again, we'll start checking it in July and August. It definitely changes, this garden does. It's not as pretty in summer and fall, so I'm working on that portion of the garden. This year is my plan, but I love the spring. This spring is stunning. Anyways, I'd love to hear what you're planting, or maybe a new garden you're putting in. I know a lot of you have left me comments, and I love seeing or hearing everything that you're doing, so kind of fun. So I have this little Japanese maple that I seeded basically, and it came up cute like. I think this is like a vining maple, really pretty. So I thought to put it in this garden and see how well it does. We have a couple other things going through this garden that we're gonna be pulling out and moving, because as the shade comes in or the shade is gone, we have to just move a few things just to make the plants happy again. But I think this is gonna look really cute in this space. I'm gonna use a little bit of BioStone's fertilizer to get going here. I'm using the starter fertilizer just to give this a good go here, and I'm gonna mulch it really, really heavy, and it should take off. It grows slowly, these plants do.
This garden is more or so just for looks, but we like to use it. There's a lot of things in here that are good for cutting. It's not something that we profit off of. Does that make sense? It's more just for like mom's enjoyment. She likes making it pretty. It's a lovely little shade garden, you know? So this wedding is very like pinks, purples, blues, yellows, pastel colors. Very girly, very textural, very like wildflower fun. It's very fun. I'm having a good time. So many bridesmaids though. That's my biggest problem is I didn't quite calculate how many bridesmaids there were and also like the size. So now I'm grabbing things to make them bigger. But yeah, it's a pretty wedding. It's really nice having little gardens like these that are our own little specialties that you're not gonna find stuff like this in markets to add to people's lovely bouquets. This is something I'm working on that you guys are gonna see next week, but I just finished a wedding, so I'm just gonna show you guys that it's in the cooler. This is the wedding that I finished. It's a very fun, frilly, pastel, wildflower, cool colors vibe. I had a lot of fun putting it together.
So the idea that we were going to use this for is mainly if we have an injured animal, or new babies or someone that we have to separate. We're going to use it as like an animal hospital, I guess. And we've used it for that in the past when we have like a egg-bound chicken or a duck with a bumblefoot or something like that. So, well, that was a team effort. I'm sweating. It's actually warm. Anyways, we're gonna go back and still, or just go finish up cleaning everything. So Emma and I have been working hard here in the garden. We've got a row of poppies that went in here. This is just a little walk path that we did, and then this is a row of stock. I've never done stock outside. We just didn't have room for it anywhere else, and so I thought I would give it a go. These will need trellised for sure, and they're looking good. They survived. We put, I think this is a pretty tight spacing, and hopefully it'll fill in nicely. Our plan is to go ahead and put some Sinodrenium, half of the Sinodrenium outside, so we're going to pop them in there. I went ahead and used landscape fabric there. We don't like to use landscape fabric much anymore, but for certain areas that are a little bit weed prone, like this little area, we went ahead and did that. So we just are taking one little step at a time here in the gardens, just taking like little sections and like finishing the project. I tend to sometimes like get distracted by something else that I really want to get in the ground or do. But Emma's really helped me just kind of keep on track and finish the job. And I'm really liking how everything's turning out. We're going to try and finish this bed. In the next video, you're going to see that completed. We started actually way up by the house, and we've kind of worked our way this way. And then we're going to finish back out by the new little greenhouse. And so we've got a big project there. We have a lot of raised beds going in. We have a little bit of a water issue, so it's going to take time. I have to build those. I'm going to build them with Jason. Actually, I'm gonna try and do it myself, and have him help me. We'll see how it goes. It's not my expertise. I love having him help me with building. He's so good at it. So I'm going to have him do that. I think we're going to be pretty well set for this year. Other than back by the peonies and roses, I have a little more work to do back there, and we're going to be planting some this fall, heavily planting the trees and things that just we cut on a lot. So I'm trying to get some woody shrubs and more staple things that we just can have year round, so I'm not leaving the farm to go cut like up at my parents' house for evergreens or for, other things. I don't know. I just leave the farm a lot. Okay, well, it's supposed to be almost 90 today. Yep, we went from 50s, 60s, and then yesterday it hit 80 something. We weren't really expecting that. I mean, myself, my body was just like, hello. We went from winter to, high 80s. And then today they're saying potentially 90. I highly doubt our farm will reach that just because we're out in the country. But I'm sure it's going to get back up into the 80s. So I'm going to enjoy it though. I love the heat. Okay, off to work I go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. And if you did, give it a big thumbs up, share it with a friend. And we would love to see you back here at Crowley House next week as we dive more into the flower gardens and all the blooming things. In fact, we do have some sweet peas coming on, so you'll probably get a look at those. Until next time, much success in all you do and grow, and we'll be seeing you shortly back here at Crowley House very soon. Bye-bye.